All right, it is now 6:06 on Thursday, March the 7th. We'll call a special meeting tonight to order. Commissioner Holly will be taking the minutes tonight, and the only item on the agenda is the upcoming pool closure in April. So I'll turn the meeting over to you before we have any questions.
Okay.
Mr. Director.
I have to apologize for the way this is printed. For those of you that don't like small print for a while. But I've been...
Is that just to show off your new eyesight?
No, yeah. Good point. No, not at all. It's...
You can just hand it to me and I'll hand it over.
Oh,
Do you need a copy for yourself?
probably. To see if you're...
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That's not too bad.
What's a bare concrete?
I think B-A-R-E.
Oh! You didn't double check this, did you?
I didn't even catch it. That's funny. I did.
Well, I
know, I
paused on that and I realized what it was.
Just wanted to see if you would catch it.
Well, I got the surfaces to be painted, but
Oh, nice.
How'd you get that to print out off your phone? That's awesome. I need to learn how to do that.
I'll touch it.
Long story.
Okay, so this is the scope of work we'll see on the front part and the outside and the windows, correct?
Yeah.
And then the scope of work on the back part we're going to see, which we discussed and was in our packets,
Right.
is run. I'm going to stop myself. Does anybody have questions about this part before I go on? I'm sorry.
I'm still reading.
Okay.
The lockers, are you planning to do anything? So we cleaned those in whenever that was. Sorry, it's just hard to, what was it, like August or whenever. Is there anything, they're tough to clean. I mean, they're
I know
just,
they are.
yeah. So are we planning to do anything special or just try to give them a once over? Okay.
Yeah, like twice.
Yeah, there we go.
A lot of elbow grease.
Yeah, I mean, they're not simple.
And with power wash. Well,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
The parking area, are we going to repaint the parking lines in the...
The lines?
Yeah. I just know, as I was getting out today, I noticed they're very faded, and I thought if we have the time or
Yeah,
take a look, see if you think. I think it would be a good idea. It'll make it look bright and fresh when. That's the first thing people see. It's like bright and fresh painting spaces, parking
Even if
spaces.
you have enough hands on, you have enough hands on deck, those 4-inch rollers with parking lot paint actually work very well.
Right.
If you don't have anybody to spray it.
That's true.
Dave can spray them.
Can I? Perfect.
But the handicap logo is, he has a friend that might have the,
Awesome.
the decal, or the,
Awesome.
That's awesome.
so I'll volunteer him for the stripes.
That's a good
at
idea.
least.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
I like that. That's a good
Dave.
idea.
I'm always
You're not
willing to
contagious. You
volunteer
don't have
him.
to. You have.
One of
hold on to that, because I've got more, and just give it back to me, because that's one of my favorites.
And do we have confirmation from Home Depot that they're gonna do it for us?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And, have we designed the sign, or we're gonna replace the front sign, just are we just putting pool in there?
You know, it's just
Just, you know what, I have a pocket knife.
Are we gonna use
Well,
a different
my
design?
thought is, my thought is to have it, I don't know where it came from in the first place, but one that looks very much like the one that's there, but just adding pool.
Okay.
And right size. Has to be redone, I
Yes.
Little carrot above it.
think.
Well, does this sign itself have the eagle on it? I mean, because
So
that's
the
kind of
so the one with the eagle on it says John Bender's Light Memorial Pool, right?
Yeah.
I think. So that one probably could stand to be refurbished, painted or whatever at some point. But the one on the front of the building here says North Whidbey Park
Oh,
and Rec
okay.
Tax Supported District. So that's the one where you want that
I
pool,
think it
right?
has
Well,
a
remember
dolphin on it.
We changed
Yeah, right. Yeah.
we changed our emblem, our logo.
right.
I
The one you-
just did the minutes. And so I wonder if it's time to try and get something made with that logo, the new logo.
Good idea.
Well, I would say first, because what we're trying to do, right, is update the sign to get our name reflected correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible to get something larger. It can't be immensely larger, but just something that's a little bit more stately and, I understand that there's kind of tradition versus maybe something a little more modern. Personally, I think something a little more modern would look great, but, I understand if that's not the direction we want to go in. I just think it might, again, it might spruce things up, but I also realize that, the other thing we still have to be a bit cost conscious of other, because, just because we're getting a big check doesn't mean we can spend it all,
And we absolutely shouldn't spend haphazardly, but I do think let's not do any refreshing of the old logo when we have a new one. So I would not redo any of the old logos. I would just leave that until we have time or money to put in the new one.
Well, we have to do a whole new sign. And, you can do a new logo on that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check into that. And if any of you have sign knowledge, where and when.
Other than is the Sheriff Chapman, is that? The sign
Humphrey,
guy that helped us
Humphrey.
out? Yes.
Yeah,
I know there was a sign guy that helped us
Yeah,
out a lot. Yeah.
on Midway, yeah.
He moved. He's not on Whidbey.
Yeah, he is.
I thought he moved.
He did, but
Oh.
he's on Midway.
Moved
The old
into
fresh
writing,
vitamins.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is there anything, just out of curiosity, is there anything in here that so I know Dave is all in, but Dave Harden, but is there anything here that we can be of help with? And I know that it's not necessarily relevant to today, but I'll put it a different way. It would be nice to know if there are things here that we can help with, and given the opportunity to help.
So here's what if I may.
Sure.
I'm going to piggyback on what Commissioner Shingles had said. So one thing I was going to ask for, and this is great, thank you very much, because this explains what we're going to do while the work's going on in the back. And what I think we need to do to present this correctly to everybody, and pardon me for sounding like my roots, but what I'd like to see is what we call course of actions, or COAs. So number one, this is what's going to happen when we shut down. We're going to shut down on April the 10th. The interior, just like this, is going to happen, right? And the exterior is going to happen. And while we're doing this, right, so-and-so is going to be replacing the filter. So-and-so is going to be pouring the pads. So-and-so is going to be, the pool's going to be drained and we're going to reline it, right? And we expect, as we're painting in here, the first step is going to be, which part out back? Help me out here. What's the first step out in the back?
Well, that's something they'll have to give us.
Sounds like they're gonna be going on everything at once.
Okay, so as the guy that likes to be in the details, right? What I'd like from the contractors, right, is a plan of action. Okay, and we owe that to the taxpayers. We owe that to the users of the pool that we have had in here. Like I said, when we swim on Saturdays and when I swim on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, it's packed, which is fantastic, which tells me that the public wants our facility, they want it to be open. So if we're going to shut it down after reopening, and granted we've been running on other people's money, I keep saying that every time I come in here, right? We owe it to the people that have helped us, the people that voted for us, and the people that use our facility to give them a timeline. You know, here's what so-and-so is going to be doing. So if we need a timeline from the contractor. And I don't think that's something that would be unreasonable.
No, I mean, they have given us the timeline since day one.
Okay, so what's the timeline?
4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, no, that's not a timeline. That's a general estimation. A timeline to me is in the first 2 weeks, I'm going to expect these steps done. Okay? I want, and this is the military guy in me, I want a detailed course of action. What are you going to do in the first 2 weeks? I know what Rex and the staff here are going to do. I know what volunteers are going to do when they come in. I mean, it's pretty clear here to me. Okay? And you detailed out, this is what we're going to do first. Thank you. This is excellent. This is what we're going to do second. This is what we're going to do third. This is fantastic. All right? Because we can take this and we can turn that into that press release and we can put it on the Facebook page. You can put it out on social media. We can ask Whidbey News Times to come in and we can let everybody know this is what the pool staff is going to be doing before we have a big reopening. Okay? What I'd like to do is, along with what you're going to be doing and the senior staff and all the volunteers, is also do the same thing with what's going on in the back room. Because guess what? They're not going to see what's going on in the back room.
Yeah, maybe.
And so they're going to see an empty pool, and the fact that they can't swim or use the facility from April the 10th till what end date? Okay? And I get that end date may change. Okay? But what we need that contractor to do is say, we think this is going to be our first. Julie, could you do me a huge favor, please, ma'am? Could you close that door? I am so sorry. Thank you very much. What'd you do to your hand? I hate to interrupt the meeting. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. I won't ask. I won't ask on public record. I just want to make sure you're okay. I just saw that. I'm so sorry. So what I want from the contractor, though, is I want a general idea of what they're going to be doing and what the time frame is.
Okay.
And I think that's needed so that we can tell our end users, the people that voted yes, what they can expect. We owe that to them. All right? And I think that's carrying forward with all the goodwill we garnered by talking about what we do here for. Thoughts from the rest of the board?
Yeah, I think they would.
Go ahead.
They'll be more than willing to offer that. You know, they've been very easy to work with so far, and I think that'd be good for everybody to see. Yes.
And they probably have it in
I
their.
think they do.
They have it written down. It's just a matter of giving it to us. We make clear that we understand they might get in and find something ugly that it's going to take a little longer. Just tell us. But having a plan is better than not having a plan.
I think the other thing is having an understanding of the critical path. When something slips, we'll have an understanding for why it slips. And so, I agree that we need to have a projected end date. And I mean, we can say, really what we're trying to do is, so for taxpayers who really want more information, they can find and get that. Part of it is even just to say, and we expect to have so for example, we expect to have a reopening, celebration or whatever the heck we want to call it in May, right? Based on 4 to 6 weeks, we would expect it to be in May, and then details to come, details to follow. And if we don't, you can kind of be, if you need to be more vague about it, but again, that critical path part is important because this is our expectation if everything goes correctly. I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but when the pool was shut for like 45 days And literally those updates were on social media every single day with details about why. And I think the reason for that was because they wanted people to understand, like, we're not just sitting on our hands here. Like, this is what happened. Like, I mean, and it was painstaking in so many ways, but it was kind of the level of transparency. So it was probably even telling people more than they wanted to know, but it was like, it's a real thing. And while I don't expect us to do that unless we go beyond that date, unless something slips because this took longer or this isn't working as expected or, something like that, I think we do need to kind of set a guideline and then by the time it opens back up, honestly, no one's going to care, but they just want to know what to expect. And then if we have to change it, we have to change it, but based on specific things, not just general, we're not sure. But yeah, I mean, anyway, that's, yes. Oh, and the other thing, and I know that this might sound really silly, but it would be great if we tried to call it something, so instead of calling it a shutdown, right, we were shut down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've already been shut down. This is actually, and so I was just trying to, and you guys call whatever you want, but is it a facility refresh? Is it a facility improvement? Is it a facility update? Call it something positive so that people have a positive expectation about the end, the end product. Because shutdown makes it, I can see some people, oh, the pool is shut down. Again? Oh, no, and so trying to set the right tone for what's really happening here, because a lot of people are going to do a lot of work.
Yep.
And we want that to be, people to understand that they're doing that for the community. I mean, yep, a lot of them are doing it for money too, but they're doing it and it's a benefit to our community.
I would like to say that I think we really need to get the word out, the kinds of things that we're really doing, what we're spending. We don't have to say what we're spending. I mean, that's kind of public record, but I was talking to people that I was playing volleyball with today, and they don't really know why the pool is being shut down. They don't, they hear that we're going to be resurfacing the pool, but they don't really know that, yes, we have to replace all this, equipment that the pool will not operate without.
That's probably the most important thing to get out is, and I like facility refresh. That's a cool name. It's bubbly and it's, but it is. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing to get to the public is,
we're going to put little packets of Febreze everywhere. Fresh.
Yeah, get that out to the public. What it is we're doing, that it's, these are the things that are failing, and it's going to increase our energy usage and and the quality of the water, and I forget all the other things we've heard over the past 6 months.
And I would say, add that to the message, please. Add what the contractor has done already. We need to message that. Yeah. They've already started work. They've already done stuff that is going to be incorporated in the end product to get ahead of the timeline, to make the facility better for the end user, and they've already done that. And so, if we can message that, and as good as this is for us, I would say bullets would work better for the public. Short, we're talking people that live by text and Instagram and 2 to 3 word sentences and pictures. And then, something like that's easier to make a story out of for Whidbey News Times or somebody else too. So I think that's really good, yes.
A couple things real quick. I mean, since we passed this back December 17th or 18th it was, I think, the modernization plan happening back there, the contractor had put it through on an emergency basis.
Right.
And, I think they got this thing broken down by the hour, so it'll be nice to see. To the point to where I've gotten 4 emails today of semi-loads of stuff that will be arriving here in the next day or two. So we'll get that all together. I know Rex had a busy week, but I know he's got this. It's itemized down to the second, basically. Good. But I think the request was to break it down Barney style. So I don't know how much detail was wanted, but with Rex and I working together, with the contractor, with staff, with to City of Oak Harbor. Would you mind if I read them 3 or 4 paragraphs on how the first 8 hours will go?
No. I tell you,
I mean, it's the same as that, it's just how the first 8 hours of the
But I think we'd
shutdown
like to
goes.
see, I mean, if that's in writing,
Yes.
send it to us.
just send it to us.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then we
Will
need
do.
to put stuff like that
Will do.
on our webpage somewhere for people to look at.
We
Because
just-
it's not just us, yes, Pat?
Right.
Well, I
We were
just,
trying to keep it
you
farming
know,
style was all.
Yeah.
You're
Or
talking-
I think Rex was at least.
You're talking about all this stuff that's going to be coming. Is it big, bulky stuff?
Some of it
Because I
large,
think
absolutely.
that a picture of that
Absolutely.
for the,
Yeah.
the newspaper, well, and website, things like that, would be attention draw, I
Yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
And this is a great chance to do before and after. And bring Whidbey News, even if we don't get Whidbey News Times in here, for us to do. Take pictures of the facility, right, beforehand, after we drain the pool, take pictures of the bottom of the pool, in the back room, right? And then the after pictures, so people can see, holy cow, this is what we're doing. You pass the levy, and this is what we're doing, and the end result is, this is your facility at the end of the day, the public's facility. But we need to let them know that.
And
So,
I think it was December 28th, I think it was, when the before pictures were in the paper, correct?
Yeah.
With the early April shutdown, okay.
Well,
So the Whidbey News Times, they've already done a story. Hopefully they'll do another one, and I'm sure they'll be all over the after one.
I think we can create a building excitement
Yes.
toward
yes,
Yeah.
opening.
yes.
It would also be great. So one of the things that had been talked about in December was a communication plan. And so I think there are really two facets to that. One is communication, ongoing communication with the public about not only what's happening, but how it's going. And so I'd like to understand what we're doing for that a little bit more. It doesn't necessarily have to be right now, but I'll keep asking because we have admitted, and I think probably every person sitting here has admitted, there are times we don't do that very well, and our goal is to do better at it. And so this is an opportunity for us to do that. But then the other one is, I personally would like to see like a weekly update, just a, and if I have to come in and get notes from you and write it myself, I'm happy to do that. Meaning if that's not a good use of your time, I'll come do it. But just so that we can all be on the same page with where things are at, how are things progressing. The idea would be no surprises. Of course, there will be some, right? Of course, it's fair to expect. But the idea is that everybody has the same information. And by the way, that's not just something that would go to the board. It could go to whoever we think our external partners are, to interested parties. I mean, it can go to whomever. Because again, it's a different way of disseminating information. And so I'd love to see that. If there's a way that I can help lessen the burden by helping enable that, I'm willing to do that. Okay?
And I think it's fair to point out that this really has never been done before.
right,
Yeah.
it has.
This what?
This remaking of this, when they built the pool, that was exciting. But nobody looked at anything and said, well, I wonder if they're doing this right. I wonder if that's going to be, a proper air filtration system, that kind of thing. It was just a new pool. That's exciting. But the idea of, redoing this whole thing back there, when people don't really know that that's true. They don't even know that that's the kind of shape it's in. They really don't.
Yeah.
And that's the story we need to get out there.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and our messaging is actually that much more powerful, and it's that much more important, right? And it's you trusted us with your tax dollars, and we are, look at all the things we're doing, and including some of it is in the bottom line of a savings to the taxpayers for the exact same services, in terms of things like our utilities, so that we can stretch that money further.
Right. And it's not like we're just painting the locker rooms.
Right.
That kind of thing.
No, absolutely,
Way.
it's huge.
I would say that's not just a just either. It's, it's not. It needs to happen. Every little thing you have detailed and put down, it needs to happen. And we've seen that ourselves, so, yeah. Is it okay to expect a comms plan and the side-by-side courses of action by the March meeting date? Is that enough time?
Sure.
Okay. All right. And then that gives us time to, get that out before April 10th too. So, and I would say it wouldn't even be a bad idea to, approach different stakeholders and let them know. The volleyball folks, lap swimmers, they're individuals that come in and out. Lohan, high school's not swimming in April and May, so they're done. Does Pete have any kayak classes planned for April and May? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure Pete knows. Skagit Valley College, whatever they're doing. And then I think part of that comms plan and those courses of action, we need to put in there, because I saw the updates on the WSI and the lifeguard on there. That was awesome. Thank you guys for putting that out. That was fantastic. Also, as we start to, throw out there that, these are the programs you're going to see once we reopen our brand, almost like new facility. Those are important things to put out there. All right. Anybody got anything else? Any other deliverables by March?
I think those are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are we going to talk about the fee schedule for after we reopen?
We can add that to the agenda for the March meeting.
Okay.
So if you could send me a quick email, please, I'll add that to the agenda.
Okay.
And I had these printed so that if you hadn't seen that class, the WSI and guard class, here it is.
All right, no other comments, suggestions, or questions for the project? Thank you for this, Rex, appreciate it, especially considering what's going on today. And that's all. Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:34.